Hey Howard, I've got a little bit of a surprise for you here. This is a fully rendered 3D design of the property and a landscape design I've been working on. To kind of give you a brief overview of the design, I tried to take your guys' original ideas, concerns, all of that stuff, and incorporate that into this. A lot of it was based off of what your wife was saying about, the property being kind of bleak in the early spring, late winter. When all the snow melts, there's just, dirt in the yard. So this would alleviate a lot of those problems. It would give you, a very astonishing landscape design for the yard. I think if you completed this, it would not only make the yard look amazing, but it would also raise the property value exponentially. A lot of the property value in homes is the outside, and I think with this, you will be, it will be like a magazine cover basically. So yeah, let's get into this. So this first section, all we would be doing in here is leveling off, getting rid of those bricks, and mulching this entire area. So you've got a nice flat area for those planters, and you've got new mulch on the left side of the driveway. Over here you've got those frost cynthia. We would add 3 new frost cynthia right here. Those would be sunrise frost cynthia. And then this is the first garden bed that we would be installing. We would be using a decorative rock border. It could be a river stone. I know you've got some lined along this section here. We could use some of those in here. But otherwise we would be sourcing new river stone. You've got a very cool shaded garden bed in here. This is Midnight Lady Ligularia. This is Roman red hellebore. It's white in this format, but it should be red. This is a wild geranium, so you've got that scattered all through this garden bed in a nice natural but cohesive pattern. And yeah, these hellebore, over here hellebore, those would offer you evergreen. These geraniums are evergreen, so you'd have a lot of growth in here during the winter to give a little bit of foliage during the late fall or late winter and early spring. Now, let's see, this is just a little patio that you already have going. This area over here, I spoke to you guys about doing this stone walkway right here. You just take out all this dirt, put a high quality lifetime warranty landscape fabric down, put the decorative stone over it, and put a stepper pathway right here. Now over here, in this garden bed by the house, this first one, this is called Burgundy Glow Ajuga. It is also an evergreen ground cover to fill this area hugging the house. And this is where the design really comes and we make some big changes. So with this area, like I said, grass isn't going to grow here, and you really just can't throw a whole bunch of mulch down and expect it to look, any better than average. So we went ahead and decided to create this really awesome design. On the outside of this perimeter, you've got a crushed red granite decorative stone walkway. This would all be installed on top of a high quality landscape fabric that's got a lifetime warranty. We've used this stuff a lot in the past, and it's just, you install it and then you come back 3 years later and it looks exactly the same. So not only would this fieldstone edging be installed on top of the walkway, but the fieldstone edging would also be installed on top of that fabric, so you won't have anything growing up in between the rocks. It will look clean for a long time. To go over the edging a little bit more, you've got some breaks in the edging to access the yard conveniently in different locations. Here, here, here. You've got another one over here, so you can kind of just step out into the yard. Something we wanted to make sure was in the design. To go over the plants in these garden beds, and you'll notice that the majority of the mulch is brown, but to give some contrast, we would actually do black mulch inside of the garden beds to give it that, nice pop, to make those plants pop, to give some contrast between the rest of the mulch in the yard and to give some contrast between the walkway. Now, to go into the plants in this design, like I said, we really want to gear this towards keeping things green, keeping things, looking like they're alive and healthy in the yard. These two right here are Pachysandra ground cover beds. So you can see that they're kind of split off from the rest of the garden bed right here, the rest of the garden bed right here. It's got its own garden bed, and that's to keep it isolated from the rest of it. In this garden bed over here, you've got these two existing bushes, which we would just kind of create this nice curvature bed around. It's got some nice natural curves in it. Right here, you've got some prairie drop seeds. Right here, you've got winter glow Virginia. These are over here as well. These winter glow Virginias, they are perennial that has a pink flower, and they are also evergreen, and they are also shaded. So we are in good shape. This is a bottle brush grass right here. So you've got Virginia bottle brush grass. And this area right in here, from this point forward, these blue-eyed grasses, this is where the yard starts to get some sun. So we put these lucerne blue-eyed grasses in here. And the great thing about this garden too is it's pretty low maintenance. Like, you don't really have to touch the Pachysandra a whole lot. These blue-eyed grasses stay really small. Everything is very, very low maintenance. So it's the best of, I think, all the worlds we're trying to fit into the design. So yeah, you got blue-eyed grasses here, more bottle brush grasses, which are also a shaded / sun grass. They do well in shade and sun. But this area right here is really the only area that gets a whole lot of sun throughout this middle. You can see the cool thing about this program is I can actually put the location in and orient and figure out which way is north into the design, so I can figure out exactly where the sun is going to be hitting. And part of our price with our designs and our installations is a 4-month warranty on all plants. So there's also that. But yeah, you can see if I go through the sun cycle from about when the sun rises, about 8, the only places that really get sun are this back corner here, this middle section over here, and on this right side over here, until the sun starts to set. So that's why I have some more sun tolerant plants in this section, some more sun tolerant plants on this section. We've got a Japanese Koto no Ito, Japanese maple right here. You've got this ring of boxwoods. I think those fit into the design nicely. And yeah, I think that's it for this section. Got these burgundy glow ajugas, again, as a ground cover that stays wintergreen. Yeah, everything in here is wintergreen though. It's pretty awesome. We were able to fit in, shaded perennials, wintergreen, and make that area look really great. Over here, this walkway would extend all the way into the backyard. The only problem is you've got an AC unit and you've got these bushes that are kind of jutted up against the house. What I would personally do is take these bushes out and move in a privacy screen of arborvitaes. So then you've got this. Instead of, bushes up against the house, you've got these privacy screens for other arborvitaes. I would also recommend burying this downspout, but it's not an absolute must right here. And then we get into the backyard. Nothing too crazy in here, but like I said, this back corner actually does get some sun. So, if we did get some shaded sod and did a lime fertilizer, one thing I noticed in the yard is that there's a lot of moss in the grass, and that is often a sign of a low lime content in the yard. So we need to use a lime fertilizer, lime-based fertilizer, a starter fertilizer, and an actual just regular fertilizer like malorganite. Get some shaded sod ordered in here, and you could get grass to grow back here. I'm very, very confident in that. Back here, you've got an existing hydrangea tree, and then you've got some heuchera. These are also evergreen. And yeah, that's about it over here. Another thing to mention is these arborvitaes here. I know that you wanted two more to complete this privacy screen. And I think that is it for the whole design. I know it was a lot, but I mean, I think this is just a beautiful design. Like I said, I think this could be on the front of a magazine. It'll raise the property value and will be in very good shape. Let me know what you think. Thanks.